Good evening, folks. Good to see you again. The ukulele is here. We're a little bit early. I'm just going to allow people to jump on and see how everyone is this evening. So just to remind everyone, I'm going to go through some worst case scenario planning. So good to see you on. Good evening everyone. Good evening Sarah. Good evening Gail. Good evening Dee. Hello Dee. Hello Lindsay. Hello Lisa. My good friend Lisa. Hello Karen. Hello Sophia. Hi Kerry. Hello Victoria. Hi Rachel. Hello Fiona. Hello Sophie. Hello Jenny. Hello Liz. Hello Lisa. Hello Louise. Hello Adam, good to see you sir. There's a lad on, yeah there's a fella on. We're in the sea of women. Melanie, good evening. Hello Jane, good to see you. Hello Stacey. Hello Julie. Hello Rachel. Hi Linda. Hello Lindsay. Good evening Fiona. We get a wavy hand back. Hello Joanne. Leander, good to see you. Hi Sophie. Joshua, another fella. There's not many of us in here. Hi Linda. Hi Helen, good friend Helen. Hello Helen. Chief Operations Officer of a very large group, so it's great to see you in here. Hello Dawn. Hello Louise. Hello Shirley. Lots in. Well, good to see you all. We'll allow just people to build. Quite a serious matter tonight, and so tonight folks, I mean, first of all, how's your day been? Hope you've been doing a little. Every day in every way I grow stronger and stronger. Every day in every way I grow stronger and stronger. It works. I know it sounds a bit like voodoo, but it works, my friends. It works. So no room for negativity, no room for negative thinking. We have got people to lead, my friends, and that's what we're all here to do. This is your moment, and every single one of you is up for it and will perform brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly in the days and months and weeks to come. So be in no doubt, I had quite a pep talk with my team today on leadership. And even though I said, we've got staff at the moment who are wobbling. Fabulous staff, fabulous guys and girls, and they're having a moment. They're worried for a number of reasons. They're worried about what is coming. They're watching the news. I think they're watching a bit too much news, and I've said stop that. It's not helping. They're worried about bringing it in themselves to our lovelies here in the home. They're worried about possibly themselves getting it, and of course they're worried about taking it possibly back to one of their frail parents or members of family. So I absolutely get it, but what I say to every single one of you here is that every single one of you is able to lead your amazing people. So when you look into the whites of their eyes and you see their anxiousness, this is the moment that you grip them in terms of their emotionally, in terms of the leadership, and you show them the way. It is absolutely your duty to show them that way, because it's going to get tough. It's tough now. So I'm afraid, there are some dark days ahead, but we've got our light, and you are the very light to shine it through. Right, what I'm going to do tonight, I'm just going to talk you through I've just finished our RGN meeting, so I'm a full team in, and like everything, we wanted to make sure that we are planning this. We're not waiting for it to happen to then put a bloody plan in place. So we're putting a plan in place that is robust, is rigorous, it is well thought out, and there are no surprises. You're not going to go to war with a half-cocked plan. So I'm afraid we are at war, and we're going to make sure this works. So for every one of you here, this isn't me saying here's your plan, but these are the sort of things that I would suggest you may wish to consider. So is that all right? Is that okay? So this is what they're about. So these are some of the things, and if there might be some takeaways, there might be some things here you think that's quite a good idea, or if it's not, just bin it. That's absolutely fine. So I just want to go through. Right, I'm going to go through 5 areas. I'm going to go through first and foremost the routine infection control, which you might not have considered previously, that you might want to consider now in terms of upping your stages. So that's the first thing, your stepped approach. What sort of things you might be considering or should be considering now. The next one is actions on outbreak. So put that in your little, so we're going to talk about actions on outbreak, how you're going to notice it, how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to manage it, how you're going to quash it, how you're going to contain it within part of your wing, part of your home, part of a room, etc. I'm then going to move on to the routine in the rest of your home. You know, handovers, the segregation of clean and dirty teams, you know, keeping relatives informed, and dealing with end of life and people coming into your building. I'm going to talk then about, you know, the fourth area. I'm going to talk about preparing your team, preparing your staff, the sort of things you might wish to consider. And finally, I'm going to talk, so stage 5, about some of the additional resources that you might wish to get in, sort of things that we're thinking about. And again, if it helps, then great, you know, then use it. Right. First one is to routine infection control. What sort of things are we considering now? That, yeah, people come in, they're washing hands, but what sort of additional? I wanted to move to a new place because I feel at the moment a lot of people aren't taking it seriously enough. So these are sort of things, right? There is going to be one entry into the building, not several as we've got at the moment. So there's a single one entry into the building. All other entrants are going to have cross tape over them, both front and back. You can still use them as a fire exit, but it will be, you can't use them routinely now, and you just can't use them routinely. Right, so single point of entry. At that single point of entry, there's going to be effectively a visqueen airlock. So it's not a physical airlock, as the name implies, but it's going to be a visqueen airlock that you move the visqueen, as in sort of plastic sheeting, clear plastic sheeting to the side. You step into that, there'll be signage on that, and in that zone, that 2 meter, 3 meter zone, before you get to the back door, before you get into our building, there will be some sort of hand washing basin there. I don't know how I'm going to find it, almost like a vanity unit. It doesn't have to be hot running water, as long as it's cold running water or running water with soap dispenser, towels, etc. So you're going to complete to elbow before you enter the building. There's then going to be the sanitized gel. So everyone picture that in their head. Visqueen before door. Door is already sort of sanitized. The door, you won't be able to, you don't have to reach for anything. It'll all either be on open already, or some sort of way that you don't have to put codes in, all the rest of it, possibly a fob. So that's the first thing. We're going to be taking, I've got someone now which is going to start possibly tomorrow, that they will start at 6:45, zapping all of my carers as they come in, and that will be recorded. So this person will probably be there from 07:45 to probably, you know, sort of 5 past 10 past 8, and their job is purely to supervise outside the hand washing and also zapping people with the touchless zapper. Right, so that's the first thing. We're saying there's going to be no uniform on public transport. They will be required to change in and out of it before work. That's absolutely critical. So those coming in their own cars, that's okay, but public transport will be required to go into new clothes at work, and so even if they bring them with them, they can't change, they can't be in uniform as they move. We're going to have an additional laundry service, which is going to be on site for people who don't wish to take their laundry home, which I think is a very good idea. We're looking at enabling some shower facilities on site as well for those people that really don't want to go home and expose their families to that. There is a brilliant, Emma, one of our RGNs, is a 10-point thing for protecting your home. Absolutely brilliant. Sophie just says, we're worried about false positives on the temperature. Yeah, you're right. The way we're dealing with that, Sophie, is that if you're out of range, so these laser pointers are not brilliant, but if someone is out of range, so it's 37.3, then we'll use the ear probe on them, so that we've got a way of trying to get about the false positives. So I absolutely agree with you on that. So shower facilities possibly on site. We've got that enabled if required. Housekeeping is going to be doing extra checks now on all the rails, etc. So that will be, and I'm just going to have one team continually just doing that around the home, so that, you know, hopefully if people's hands are clean, then they shouldn't be sort of spreading it around the home. But nevertheless, housekeeping are going to be dedicated to that. All our rooms anyway have now got dispensing towels, pump dispensers, and also we've got the so gloves and aprons are all available in the rooms. I'll talk about barrier nursing, because clearly you can't have it in the room for barrier nursing, but I'll talk through that in a second. We're also going to have a step-in foot bath. Do you remember foot and mouth several years ago, where you went into places and you had to stand on a particular mat and then step in? It's going to be a very low tray with disinfectant in, and you're going to be stepping on that before you come into the building. So that's going to be on that single point of entry as well. So that's good. Right, monitoring our residents. So they're the additional thing. Oh right, the additional thing that we're also going to do now is that we're going to have face masks, those disposable face masks which have just been issued by Department of Health. We are now, tomorrow morning, all carers delivering personal care and also feeding support are going to be wearing those. Now, you couldn't you can use those from resident to resident, is to protect the resident rather than protect you. So if we're carrying at the moment and we don't realise it, at least this is going to capture it inside the mask and not spread it around unknowingly to our residents during this incubation stage we don't realise about. So all carers tomorrow delivering personal care will have their dedicated, with their name on, mask. That will then go into a sealed zip pocket, which they'll issue. They can go in their pocket, and then when they do personal care again, they can put the same mask on. So we're not going through all these masks, and there's absolutely no problem with that. So I just want to talk about monitoring. The monitoring is going to be done via, so we were on PCS, there's loads of other electronic systems on there, but everyone every morning now will be formally monitored on the PCS system in order to collect the data in terms of fever, and there's a whole series of checklists. There's a very good app available, so those people who haven't got any of that, there is a very good app available which goes through that question set. Hannah's saying, where do you get the masks from? You should have been issued to you, Hannah. It's been issued by the Department of Health, or Health England, I should say. Make sure they reapply. Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of managers saying make sure they wash their hands after reapplying the masks. Yeah, absolutely. So very, very good point there. So loads of hand washing going on throughout the day. I still feel, as much as we're taking it seriously, a lot of people aren't taking it seriously, and so I've just got to up the ante. And if you've got visqueen locks going into a building, you're stepping into a thing, I think very naturally the whole theatre around you is starting to think, right, I really need to take this seriously. So I'm hoping through that and through our own leadership on the floor, seniors, managers, everyone is taking this seriously, and we're demonstrating that in what we're doing. The handover now is going to be so we're going to disperse the handover. Typically it would be in here during the morning. We're going to disperse that handover. Residents are now going to be situated in communal areas with one chair apart. We're still using communal areas, but we're at a stage where we might decide then to disperse. But at the moment, I think there's more benefit through people at least being in the open rather than just trapped in rooms. So I just want to go through that. Face mask, one, personal care. Right. So that's the routine infection control. There's sort of things we're going through now. Right. I want to talk about outbreak. The first thing is we've got to assume, God forbidden, that there is it gets in the building, and I think it may well do. So the first thing is a number of things. The first thing, can I spot it early enough through our monitoring, our active and proactive monitoring? Can I lock it down quickly enough so that it hasn't spread by day 3, day 4, because we haven't been proactive or monitoring it enough? And can I make sure I enable teams confidently to be able to deliver that without affecting the other routine around the home? Because the rest of the home's got to function. Meals got to be delivered, personal care's got to be delivered. We can't just go locked down onto one person. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to have a dedicated dirty or a dedicated infection control team that will be led by a senior. We are looking to initially ask for who is initially confident that actions on outbreak, they're the first people in. One of those people is going to be me, because I've got to demonstrate to my team that I have total confidence in the kit and equipment that we've purchased and we've got and we've begged, borrowed and stolen in order to make sure that this is right. So actions outbreak, the first thing is that we will lock that person down in terms of it would be isolated in the room. So clearly, just to state the obvious, we'll go into barrier nursing. So that, for those of you who might not know, so we've got a table outside with all the PPE, personal protective equipment. There'll be signage on the door. I'm going to put a visqueen on over the door itself, so you can imagine, so it's just going to be clear, but again it's a clear indication you're about to walk into a dirty area. Within that room there will be a bin for the so outside you'll have your normal uniform. We're looking to get scrubs or type boiler suits or disposable suits, or indeed cotton suits that we can, almost like painter and decorator suits, that we can wash and boil wash. So you'll step outside, you'll step into these, put on the face mask, and I'll show you the face masks that we've got available. You'll then hairnet. We've got the gauntlets as well for the sleeves, and we've also got overboots. You then enter into the room as a team, obviously with gloves and everything else on. You'll deliver the personal care. Prior to coming out the room, you'll then, in a set order, checklist order, you'll then derobe. That dirty clothing will then go into a red bag. A red bag will then be double sealed into a plastic bag, a black plastic bag, and that will then go into a foot operated bin, which will then will contain all that. It can stay there for I think it's 2 to 3 days, or sorry, no, it can stay there for a period of time prior to then being removed for laundry and laundering. Obviously you'll then step out of the room, you'll then sort of decon hands, etc., and there's going to be water outside to do that, even though you can't fit a sink, but we'll have a bowl which will then take and replenish. So everything will be out there, all checklists. I'll issue the checklist that I've got. One of my deputy clinical lead, Wendy, is putting in place tonight, and I'll also produce the brilliant checklist for keeping the home environment safe, which is absolutely brilliant. So that's actions on outbreak. The outbreak, there's going to be a dedicated team, and that team will remain dedicated just to servicing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individuals. They can't just wander around the so obviously they derobe, they go in, do what they've got. They won't be mixing throughout the day with my clean team. So I've got a dedicated staff room, which is one of my vacant rooms, which I'm going to turn into a recreation room for those teams waiting on standby. So I'm not going to mix it up. So that's my clean and dirty team. Right, the rest of the home. The rest of the home. Handover I've mentioned about the dirty and clean team, which again won't mix or openly mix. Keeping relatives informed is going to be literally by the hour, for particularly those who might be infected, particularly those on end of life. We have a plan for getting those coming into the building. Again, outside they will robe up effectively like a dirty team or a contamination team. They'll come into the building, they'll go into the room, and we'll treat them exactly like another person going into and delivering care or personal care. So they'll have the full protection required. Right, preparing staff. I just want to talk about that. They are real frightened bunnies at the moment, folks. There's a lot of stuff on the news, and just try and ignore it. That's all I can say. Just try and ignore it. It's not helping. It's not helping you. It's not helping your members of staff. But recognise they are very, very frightened bunnies. So they're going to find massive comfort from you guys, because you're absolutely awesome. You guys looking them in the whites of their eyes and saying, "Look, girl, look, fella, you've absolutely got this. You've absolutely got it." So we are going to be asking staff that if on initial outbreak, who's prepared to be part of the first infection control team. We're not waiting for that to happen. Immediately tomorrow, we're mocking up a room and we're doing full barrier nursing, and everyone is going to go through that CARDA. Everyone is going to go through that training. We're going to get our systems, our standard operating procedures, SOPs, up and running, so that when it happens, it's not the first time they put scrubs on, they put the hair, they put all the stuff on, and they put the masks on. It's going to be something that they've already done, they're familiar with, just like doing anything else, whether it be in the forces or something like that. Your first time is not when you go to war. Right, resources required. I just want to talk, particularly, we're a nursing home, so of course we've got to maintain normal nursing operations. I just want to go through what my amazing team came up with. First thing is they're going to do a full stock check. Sounds obvious, but I want to make sure we know exactly clinically how many butterfly needles we've got, how many drawing up needles we've got with filters. I want to know, I don't want any surprises. I want to make, so these are sort of things. Subcuts, I don't think they'll have enough syringe drivers to go around, and therefore I'm planning that we'll be delivering end-of-life medication, if it exists and if there's enough of it, by subcut and other means as well. So 2mm syringes we're looking at for the subcut injections. We're getting additional water in, make sure it's in date. Right, anticipatory meds, guys, there is a shortage, so this is how we're dealing with it. The first thing is we've identified those who are going to be at the first, closest to the door in terms of end of life. So those people who have been admitted, so we've now got a RAG system, red, amber, green. Those who are closest to end of life or have been admitted most frequently to hospital in the last 3 to 6 months, because guys, those are the guys who are the most frail. So that's the first one. Identify those. Identify those who've got respiratory issues. We've got 5 here who are serious respiratory, those COPD, cystic fibrosis, etc. So there are some people who have got some real issues, and therefore, if they get it, I'm afraid they're going to go down with it. So, and then anyone else who is massively immune compromised, apart from age alone. So anticipatory meds, and we're going to get the, regardless whether they need it or not, we're going to put an order in for those, which you can do anyway, certainly in the next 3 months or so. So we're going to have those in place, hopefully. I don't think there's enough to go around. We're going to talk to families about, we've got 5 here who for their own reasons have chosen not to have a DNR. Everyone needs a DNR. We're looking at additional oxygen, particularly those who we feel may need it. In the initial stages, the oxygen works extremely well through nasal cannula, and so we're looking to make sure we've got more of those, more masks, and also a supply on site of additional oxygen for those who have prescribed it. I'm not suggesting that we're using oxygen on people that aren't prescribed it. We're doing a risk assessment now as well for staff who are compromised. Those ones are already off site in terms of already received their letters, and I've got Jackie who she's working brilliantly from home, but we've got other members of staff who likewise are at massive risk. I think they're on tranche 2 of the risk assessment, and therefore I've got a backup plan for those who are going to be taken out of the field of play later on in the game. So I've got a backup plan for them. I think that's probably about it. So just to recap, we've gone through tonight routine, improving your routine infection control, so it feels like we're taking it seriously prior to obviously an outbreak happening. We've gone through outbreak and actions on with that. Dirty and clean team, making sure they're well resourced. Table outside, what it looks like, what it feels like. You've got to be able to visualize it. We've looked at the routine in the rest of the home, which has been brilliant in terms of normal life has to go on. What's it look like? I would suggest actions on outbreak. Everyone is segregated back to their rooms, so there's no more sort of communal living. Preparation for the staff, both in psychological, emotional, and training support. Let's get that training support right out there, which is going to be great. And also resources in place. I've gone through some of the resources at the moment. Let me just go through. Oh, right, here's my little resource list. Right, more orange bags for the decontaminated or contaminated clothing. So more orange bags. Paper and plates and disposable knives and forks, so that that is also, because anything that goes into that room, I just want to be able to destroy it, not come back out to kitchens. We're looking to purchase more bins, foot operators single bins, that we can drop those bags with the scrubs in straight into there. Wash facilities outside the room, so I'm looking at arm buckets, so I can get a whole arm up to my elbow in that bucket so I can properly wash it. We're looking for dedicated laundry baskets that will then go through, probably big red baskets, into laundry. Additional nasal cannulas for oxygen and also face masks. Blunt needles for drawing up, particularly the ones with the filter, particularly for obviously morphine, etc. But blunt needles, I think we need a number of those. Also little zippy bags that we're going to put our face mask into, and so at least there's something to protect those. Guys, right, I hope I haven't freaked you out. Right, don't be freaked by this is just me, so we put good plans in place in the hope that we don't need them. If it is needed, we've rehearsed it to death, so it's super cool. So please don't be thinking that, I don't want anyone going, oh, I haven't got half of that stuff. Right, there is stuff you can do. I'm always available. A lot of people message me during the day just to ask for my opinion, for no other reason. It's just another opinion. So look, keep safe. As Stacey says, stay safe. Look, all of you stay safe. You're doing a top job. And we've got to finish on a song, haven't we? And it is one you've all heard before, but I think it is scary. Helen says, real but scary. It is. It is scary. But we can all do this. There is life after this, and there's going to be some proper parties. Oh my God. Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Coronavirus, if you think we're on the run? We are the carers who will stop your little game. We are the carers who will make you think again. Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Coronavirus, if you think old England's done? Folks, thank you very much. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Anything at all, and let's keep this group growing. It's saving lives because we're just getting the information out there. Have a top night. Love you lots, and keep on rocking and rolling. See you soon.